Hello and welcome to the Stuw. My name is Josh Klein. I am the youth pastor at Crosspoint Bible Church, and this is our new podcast. I'll be the host primarily for this podcast, and it's going to be an exciting opportunity to just share what's going on in student ministries and in the church. That's part of the reason it's called the Stuw, because it's going to be kind of a stew of topics. We're going to look at topics at the church universal, the church as a whole of Crosspoint, student ministries, and things of culture as well. So I'm looking forward to that. It's going to be a 4-week rotation of things that we're going to focus on and things we're going to be considering and talking about, themes, if you will. The first week of the month is going to be a student ministries focus, so maybe something we're doing, maybe cultural trends. Every teen culture has its own little subculture. It doesn't matter if your kids are homeschooled or if they are public schooled anymore. That culture is pervasive because of social media, and that's something we're going to talk about today because this is week 1 of the podcast, so we will talk about that today, the information subculture of the social media platforms that kids use, and it transcends where they go to school and what they do and who they connect with. In that regard, they connect with more people online than they do in person, even those who go and are part of clubs and things of that nature. The second one is going to be a Bible focus. We are a Bible church after all, and so we might take a look at passages of Scripture that we are looking at in student ministry, so you can hear a little bit of what's going to be said. And we might take a look, maybe even at a sermon series that we're going to be doing, or just my own personal devotions or something like that. Who knows? But we get to open the Word together, look at that, and just explore the possibilities of what God has in store for us there. So that will be the second week. The third week is going to be a Crosspoint Ministries focus as a whole. Maybe it should just be called church focus, because it could be a broader context than that, but ultimately trying to get people in interviews for together so that we can learn about what's going on at Crosspoint. Some of the things that I've noticed is sometimes we can be so insulary in our things that we're a part of. Maybe you're really involved in Awana, you don't really know what goes on in the youth group, or you're really involved in the youth group, you don't know what's going on in Awana, or you're really involved in adult ministries, but you really like to know what's going on in the student ministries or women's ministry, wanting to know what's going on in men's ministry, things of that nature. Just getting our finger on the pulse of Crosspoint Bible Church and what that looks like on a month-to-month basis. And then the last week of the month, we're going to be taking a look at big issues. Maybe they're cultural topics. Maybe it's a big question about Christianity. Maybe it's a question that you all have that you want one of us as pastors to take a look at together and discuss, so that you can listen to something that we think and opinion that we have on said topic. So if you have any ideas for those, you can go ahead and email me, josh@crosspointbible.org, and we'll get them on the list of discussions. If you don't email me, that's fine too, because there are quite a few things to talk about when it comes to the big picture questions of culture, of religion, and of our relationship with Jesus Christ. So those are the 4 big things that we're going to be looking at on a week-to-week basis. I'm very excited to start this journey, looking at this to be another resource for parents, for people of the church, to just listen to some of the things that are going on in a local context. I'm sure we all have our big national podcasts and broadcasts that we want, and this is not me thinking that I'm Greg Rochelle or anything like that, but it is an opportunity to hear what's going on in our immediate context. So I'm very excited about where this is going to take us. I think there's a lot of opportunity for positive impact in this regard, and maybe even a stronger connection between us. So I'm excited about that. I think I've said excited about 4 times now, but you can see that I am very excited because of that. Again, today is the youth ministry portion of it, or student ministries portion of our podcast. And so I'm just going to dive right in with some thoughts that I've had for a while now. It's been kind of hard to articulate those things. I've been trying to find different mediums and ways to maybe do this. And the busyness of our culture is something that is not really new, but it's unique to this day and age to being able to get together and have one of these times. I'm just discussing a simple topic, but one that is so important. And one of the things that's been on my mind a lot lately has been this idea of social media, social networking, and and how our kids and our youth interact with that, and how we ought to interact with them as well. And so we're going to take a look at that today. Social media is such a big aspect of our lives. I remember when I was in college was when Facebook first got started, and that became a big thing for college-age kids. But now it is graduated beyond that. We've got Facebook, we've got Twitter, we've got Snapchat, we've got Instagram, we've got YouTube, which is a social media device. Believe it or not, you can have friends, you can follow, you can subscribe, you can communicate back and forth on YouTube. So it's not just for videos or silly videos, things of that nature. And so we're going to be taking a look at what it means to engage with social media as Christians, what it means to engage with social media as Christian parents, because I think this is probably the biggest area of concern for a lot of us, is what our kids are doing online. And it used to be that you could just slap a filter on or keep a computer in a public space in the home, and maybe you still do that. And if you still do that, then that's great that you're still able to do that. But a lot of families have embraced the technology of our day, and that's a good thing in a lot of ways. I think it would be a really good thing. And a lot of kids have access to things that you never had access to before, as far as social media goes. And there's a lot to be aware of as parents now, a lot more now than there has been in a long time, because kids are just online all of the time. It used to be able to, you shut the TV off, you made kids go outside and play, you knew who their friends were in the neighborhood. Now kids are making friends across cultures and across country lines, not just state lines, not just youth camp once a year. But because of social media, we're able to interact with each other in a way that is very unique, and that is actually deceptively intimate. And what I mean by that is it's this illusion of intimacy that we have when we see somebody and we think we know what their life is like on Facebook or Twitter or Instagram or YouTube or Snapchat or TikTok, and we think that we know them, and then we feel like we're a part of their lives, even though we've never talked to them, we've never experienced what they believe or how they think, but we think we know them. And the one of the things that comes to mind is our two YouTubers named Rhett and Link that have been a big part of Christian circles in a lot of ways for the last 14 years. They started on YouTube in 2006. They were on staff with Crew for, I believe, well, no, they helped with Crew for 9 years, but they were on staff for a few years with Crew, which was Campus Crusade for Christ at the time. And they have since deconstructed their faith on YouTube in a platform. And just so you know, they have 16 million followers, subscribers on YouTube. And that's just subscribers. Their reach goes far beyond that. And so they've been on YouTube deconstructing their faith. And later, in one of the big question podcasts, we're going to take a look at this idea of deconstructing your faith and what that actually means and how we respond to it. But ultimately, our kids are exposed to these sorts of things without us knowing it. And so I wanted to talk real quickly, and again, this is just a real quick conversation about what we can do to engage with our kids. And I see a few options. One is that we try to completely isolate and keep this technology out of their hands, and so we can control what they're doing. And if that's something you want to do, you're going to have a lot of grief on your hands, probably from your kid, because they're going to want all these things. But if that's something you can do in the culture of your family to be able to do that, then that's awesome. That's a good thing. But ultimately, they're going to end up at some point in their life engaging with these things anyway. So maybe these next two ideas, even if you are trying to insulate, would give you an idea of how to communicate with them before they're able to interact on their own when they go out into the world. The other option is being involved and continuously monitoring what kids are doing. And this was much easier when it was just Twitter and Facebook, even when it was just Twitter and Facebook and Instagram, because most of the public accounts you could look at, and then you could maybe try to figure out if they had a second Instagram account that was kind of inappropriate and doing things like that. But the advent of TikTok and Snapchat and these other social media platforms has made that difficult too, because you don't know about it. And you think, well, it's just harmless fun. You see the videos that your kids make and you think it's good. And the one I want to talk about right now is actually TikTok. Snapchat is big too, but I've been really concerned about this TikTok thing. And as some of you may know that I made a TikTok video for our youth group. So our kids are on this app. And I don't have anything inherently against it. However, there is something that you should know as you look at it. I downloaded TikTok. I'd never really even looked at it until I made this video for the kids at youth group, and I thought, well, maybe I should know what I'm getting into. So I downloaded TikTok, and when you download it, you don't even have to sign up. You don't have to log in. You don't have to put your email. You can just download it, and you have access to thousands and thousands of videos, primarily of teens and preteens doing whatever they want on this platform. Now, I haven't run across anything explicit visually. However, there are themes of explicit sexuality. There's a lot of dancing, suggestive dancing that happens on this app. And one of the things is you go in when you download it and you put your preferences in. And I don't remember what preferences I put in, but when you get to there's two options. There's a For You, which is just a bunch of public videos of people you don't even know that pops up. And you can just scroll through these videos. I'm doing it right now as I look. You can just scroll through these videos, and you have no control over what you're going to see next or what you're going to hear next. So I have it muted because I'm afraid that something inappropriate is going to pop up. But the thing is there's a lot of funny videos, but there's also a lot of inappropriate joking, coarse joking, and coarse themes, and inappropriate things that they're saying. And this is the most popular app, I believe, social media app, I believe, between the ages of 10 and 18. So if you got kids between the ages of 10 and 18, regardless of where they're going to school at, they probably have had some sort of interaction with this app. So there's two things. One is I just read an article recently that said that TikTok is the number one app for predators to try to find teenage girls, teenage boys to start to groom. They'll follow them. So they create an account and then they follow people and they try to start to chat with them. Now, I haven't created an account and wanted to chat with anyone because I just wanted to see what the app was like. But there's two options when you log in. There's a For You, like I said, it's public and you can just see a whole bunch of videos that have a lot of likes and comments. There's one right now that I'm looking at has 25.3 thousand likes. The next one has 60.4 thousand likes, and I don't know what this one is about because I have it muted again. But ultimately, there is a lot of inappropriate, suggestive things going on here, and if you've got a kid between 10 and 18, they are able to scroll through these things and probably find a lot of this stuff, and some joking that they might not even understand. And they might end up trying to Google or find out exactly what's so funny about this, and that can be a concern for parents. The other option is the following tab, and what happens is you can follow certain people, you can follow specific TikTokers online so that so that you can know exactly what they are doing or what they're going to put out there. So that's the main thing. But I wanted to talk real quick about how we interact with that, because Snapchat is very similar to TikTok in that you can follow people. You have a public story that you can put out, or you can send private pictures and videos to people, and then it ends up getting erased over time. TikToks don't get erased over time. So Snapchat has had a history of pornography and things like that being shared and being looked at. And I would encourage you, if your kids have these apps, first, ask them if they have these apps. Second, ask them if they're following anyone or people following them. Just show genuine curiosity, because you might get some people that don't, some kids that don't really like the curiosity. But and then download the apps and look at them yourself, and then ask questions about it. And I think giving kids principles of how to interact in a lot of ways is going to be more effective these days than trying to keep them from those apps. Because it doesn't matter if they have a phone or if they have an iPod Touch, if they have a smart device that can download apps when it's connected to the internet, they can get these apps and they can look at any content that they want. And it's not age restricted. None of the stuff on TikTok is age restricted as far as I can tell. I could be wrong. Let me know if I am. But there's a lot of themes that, of course, joking that I hear that concerns me in a lot of ways. And so I just thought I would make sure that that's out there for you. If you have any success stories about how you've monitored social media in your house, there are apps and programs that you can download to actually monitor the screens in your house and on your cell phones to report back to you what app is being used the most and stuff like that. I would encourage you to download those. I can make that available if you want to email me. Again, josh@crosspointbible.org. And we work together to do this because we want to protect our kids, but we also want to give them an informed way to live life in the social media world, because this is not going away, folks. Social media is going to become more and more pervasive, and we need to figure out how we can interact with it and be salt and light, I believe. Well, before we go, I got two small announcements for youth stuff going on. We got a leadership summit coming up. I encourage all high school kids to attend this event. I'm very excited about it. It's at the end of April 24th through 26th. And what it is it's just an event where people and kids get to go and experience what it means to follow a good leader and what it means to become a good leader and how to find the attributes therein. We're going to have an adult panel of leaders from our church that are able to speak to these kids. That was a huge success last year. So please sign up online. It's crosspointbible.org/students. You just scroll down to the events and it should be on there. Also for our middle school, we have Urban Plunge coming up in June. We just need signups as soon as possible to get the ball rolling there. Once again, I'm Josh Klein. This has been The Stuw, and I'm very excited to continue this journey with you. God bless you, and have a great week.